In this movie, I will be showing you one of our dormer modules. Creating an accurate cost for a dormer is a complex and complicated task. In fact, up until now, guesstimating was the only easy and fast way to do it. Which isn't surprising when you consider that out of all of the jobs out there, you'd be hard pushed to find one that involves so many elements and individual tasks. Building a dormer is like building a small extension on a roof. You do have to allow for the adjustment of the existing roof, the building of walls and dormer roof, the roof covering, the external and internal plastering, the installation of a window, and much more. In the dormer module, like in all of our total build estimating modules, EasyPrice Pro has done all of the hard work for you. The complex and fiddly calculations all take place behind the scenes, enabling you to produce a complete and accurate quotation for your dormer extremely quickly and very easily. You won't just have a square metre price either. You will have a complete quotation and be able to view the detail right down to the last nail. The dormer module is the biggest and best estimating module within Total Build to date. Let's take a look and you will quickly see how time-consuming dormer costing or guesstimating the price of your dormer can now be a thing of the past. I need to bring the dormer module I require onto the pricing sheet. There are several styles of dormer that can be constructed, so when I click the word dormer, a window with a pictorial menu appears. There are 4 different styles of dormer to choose from: lean-to roof, hip roof, flat roof, and gable roof. I'm going to select the hip roof. You will then be given 6 options for the type of cladding: sheet finish, which can be plyboard or plastic sheets, plastic boarding, including shiplap option, the leadwork finish option. This can also be chosen if your cladding will be copper. Here we have the plaster render finish. This can be used with any type of external plaster. Then we have the timber board finish. This is suitable for feather edge board, sawn, shiplap boarding, or maybe a hardwood Waveney edge boarding. Lastly is the tile finish option, for if you're hanging tiles. I'm going to select the timber board finish. The name of the dormer module I have selected is shown here. I can see the wastage percentage. This is set at 6%, but you can change this if required. The View Movie button is here. Here at the top of the estimating module, there are 10 red boxes. All you need to do is to enter the requested information. Let's get started. If your dormer is going onto an existing roof, you will need to begin by entering the height and width of existing roof that's going to be stripped out. If you do not enter any information into these boxes, the program will assume that you are building into a new roof structure. I am going to enter the height and width directly into the interactive 3D picture. To open it, I click on it. So here, I enter how high up the roof I will be stripping out. This is 5 linear meters. I'll enter 6 linear meters for the width. This will give plenty of room to work. Next, I need to enter the number of dormers I will be doing. I'm going to be doing 1 dormer, so I will enter 1. If you are pricing multiple dormers that are all exactly the same, you enter the quantity that you are doing here. If you're doing multiple dormers that have different specifications, simply bring in further dormer estimating modules, so they can be priced individually. Now I need to enter the height of the dormer walls and the depth that the dormer will go into the existing wall. Here, I'm provided with 3 options. So option A. I would select this if my dormer was going to be part into the roof and part into the existing wall. I'd choose option B if it was going to be sitting up on the edge of the roof or the top of the wall. Option C would be selected if it was going to be in just the roof. When you click on an option, you'll be provided with the red boxes, so you can enter the height of the dormer walls, and when required, the depth the dormer will go into the existing walls. My dormer will be in the option C position. Due to its position, I only need to enter the height of the dormer walls. The height of my dormer walls is 1.5 linear meters. I am provided with a pictorial reminder of the position option I have just chosen here. The program has automatically entered, not required, in the depth of dormer into existing walls red box. We're already halfway there to having complete costing for our dormer. I will enter 0.4 linear meters for the rafter spacing on the dormer roof. Next, I will enter 0.4 linear meters for the studwork spacing on the dormer walls. The default for the existing pictures of the roof is set at 45 degrees. If you want to change it, just enter the pitch required. The thickness of the walls that's being allowed for is shown here. Again, this is a default setting of 100 mm. You can change it if the thickness of your walls is different. I enter the width of my dormer here. This is 2 linear meters. Next, the soffit width. This is 0.2 linear meters. Here is the pitch of the dormer roof I will be building. But if your pitch is different, then you would adjust this number by overtyping the information in the red box. If you do want to go into the finite detail of the dormer, like the height of the roof, and see how this has been calculated, click on the red question marks here, and you can see exactly how these details have been worked out. The dormer module is packed with this level of detail. Every step of the way, you can see exactly how everything's been worked out. Now, I enter the 10th and final measurement that the dormer module requires to calculate the costs. I will click on the picture adjacent to the red box. Here, I enter the spacing between the existing rafters. This is 0.6 linear meters. My dormer is now priced. I have entered 10 numbers into the red boxes and it's done. By entering this information, I haven't been provided with just a vague square metre price or a size-based cost. Every single item, right down to the last nail and screw, has now been accounted for. If I scroll down the pricing sheet, you can see that a lot of information has been calculated. All this information is broken down into sections, listed in the order that you would carry out the works. Everything that you need to know about the pricing of the dormer is all here, on this single sheet. I'll go back to the top and go over each of the pricing sections. The first detailed section is the form opening total. Every pricing section follows a similar format. The title of the section is shown here. The cost of this section is also shown clearly in this grey box. All of the items associated with this section are listed below the title. You have the option to open or close the section. You can insert a line into a section if you want. To the left of every item within each section is a question mark. I am provided with an interactive picture. By clicking any of these, I can view exactly how this item has been worked out and adjust the details if required. To the right of every listed item is a green tick or red cross. If an item has a green tick, it's being included in the total costs. If it has a red cross, the costs for it are not included. These can all be adjusted instantly. You just click it. The first item is the Remove Finished Roof Coverings. I can adjust the details directly in the picture, so I can alter the hours allowed per metre square of removal. I will be adjusting this to 0.15 hours per square metre. As you can see, all of the costs instantly change. I can also adjust the material by using this drop-down menu here. I can see the area of tiles to be removed and the area of tiles to be reused. If you want to adjust this, just tick the manual option and enter the percentage of tile that you want to reuse. I will be leaving this setting as it is. Next, I have the removal of the battens, felt and ceiling. All of these costs have been worked out, and you can view and adjust the detail by clicking on the question mark for that line. You will notice that in all of these pictures, the area that's being referred to is highlighted yellow. Throughout the dormer module, a yellow highlight means that it is going to be removed. When you see a blue highlight in a picture, that means it's going to be added. As I'm building my dormer up into the roof, the program knows that I do not need to allow for the cutting out of the existing soffit and rafter ends. The form opening and the supporting batten to cut rafter have been allowed for. The cutting out of existing walls is not allowed for. I will click on the additional supporting rafter question mark. By default, this is set at 4 to allow 2 at either side. But you can adjust this directly in the picture. If, for example, you're using 3 either side, you just overtype the information in the yellow box. Here, I can see exactly how the labour and materials have been worked out, and adjust them if required. I can also see the total costs of this individual item. The total length of the additional rafter is automatically calculated for you. But you can adjust this if required. You click the manual option, and you can then enter the length of additional rafter that you're going to use into this box. I am provided with blue text that also states the quantity and size details of the additional rafters I will require. Here I have the trimmers. I can adjust the length and quantity of timber per trimmer that has been allowed for. 2 types of joist hanger have been allowed for. If you do not require both, you can just untick the box here by clicking on it. All of the detail about the joist hangers can be viewed and adjusted by clicking on the question marks. The final item in this section is the additional battens for the edge of plasterboard. If you want to adjust the length, click the manual option and enter the length of your choice. The blue information icon will provide you with further help and details of how the automatic length has been calculated. The next section that's all been worked out is the walls section. First is the window. I can see the quantity of windows here. I will leave this as it is, but you can adjust this. I can also alter the type of window by using the drop-down menu. The fitting time for my window is shown here, and I can adjust the hours per window if required. The glazing and lead work to the bottom of the window, cheeks for the window, lead sealant and temporary battens for the window are all accounted for. The exact details can be viewed and adjusted by simply clicking on the question mark and using the interactive picture. The stud work for the walls is next. I'll click on the question mark. To view the detail, click on the blue section you want to know more about. You may not need to look at this information every time you produce a quote with this module, but nevertheless, it is there should you require it or want to understand exactly how the stud work for your walls has been worked out. Like the rest of the programme, it's extremely simple to use. The noggins to fix lead flashings on the side walls and above window are accounted for here. I don't require the noggins above the window, so I will untick this. Next, I have the roof structure. Whilst it's small, it is still a complex part of the job. It has got hips, it has got valleys, just about everything a full-size roof of this type would have. Again, every item is listed and worked out in exact detail. The ridge, noggin for fitting ridge board, temporary batten for ridge have all been calculated. The dormer module is continuously thinking for me. For my rafters, hips, lay boards, jack rafters, ceiling boards and valley boards, the program automatically rounds this length up and provides me with a cutting list. Every item in the roof structure has been calculated, and you can click on the question marks to see exactly what's been allowed for and how it's been worked out. The insulation section is next. First, I have the insulation for the walls. As you can see, 2 layers are allowed for. You can adjust the material selections for both. If you only require 1 layer of insulation, then simply untick the second layer. I now have a choice as to how I'm going to insulate my roof. I can insulate the ceiling or the rafters. All I need to do is click the picture that represents what I'll be doing, and all the costs will immediately adjust. If I click the rafter picture, as you can see, all the insulation costs for the ceiling are removed and replaced with the insulation in rafters options. I am going to be insulating the ceiling, so I will click the Insulate Ceiling picture and adjust it back. All of the fascia and soffit information for my dormer is shown here. Every item that is included in this total cost is indicated by a green tick, so I can instantly see what's being allowed for. And if I want to view and adjust the details or clarify what the item is, I just click on the question mark and all the information I need will be instantly shown. These costs are based on timber fascia and soffit being used. If you wanted to adjust this, you would just click on the plastic fascia and soffit. Instantly the costs will change. I'm now at the roof covering section. The LED flashing is dealt with first. So I have the LED flashing for the side walls. I can see all the details, so the length down each side wall and the total length. The LED flashing to above window is next. This option may not be needed if you are going tight under the actual soffit. My window is going tight under the soffit, so I won't be doing this. The LED flashing to front of dormer and the LED for valleys have been allowed. I'll just click on the roof covering. I am asked if I want the coverings to include walls to dormer. I am going to click the Yes option here. Instantly, everything is worked out. All of the battens, including the existing area, have been calculated. I will click on the Finished Roof Covering tile. By default, the percentage of tiles being reclaimed is automatically worked out. But if you want to enter your own percentage, then click the Manual option. My ridge, hip tiles, and the sand and cement have all been worked out. Everything I will require for the wall cladding is shown in this section. As you will recall, in the roof section, I chose the option to include the membrane for my walls with the roof membrane. So because this item has been allowed for already, it's automatically removed from these costs. The timber for the corners has been allowed for the external corner grounds type 1 and 2 and external finish corner type 1 and 2. Battens to walls to take the cladding are allowed for next. If these are not required, then simply untick them. Lastly, I have the wall cladding. I'm given the choice between boarding shiplap and feather edge boarding. Simply tick the one you require and select the material. If you are doing feather edge, you can adjust the amount of overlap here. This is the guttering section. I can see the total cost of this here. All of my guttering items have been worked out. So the gutter brackets, guttering, gutter outlet, external corners, stop ends, downpipes, and so on. I can view all the details and see exactly how each item has been calculated by clicking on the question mark for any of the items. This will open the interactive diagram that allows me to adjust the details. If you're not doing the guttering, only the structure, you can untick all of the items and the guttering will not be included. The next section deals with all the internal works. The total of this section is shown here. If you're not doing this, then you can just untick all the items. The window board, plasterboard for the entire area, the skim beads, skim tape, plastering, curtain batten and sealant for the cheeks has all been calculated. As you can see, the plastering is automatically calculated, but if you want to adjust this, click the Custom Plasterboard area and you can enter the area that is to be plastered. Waste disposal and its total are here. Here, I can see exactly how the waste disposal has been calculated, and if required, I can adjust this. The method of waste disposal is shown next, and again, I remain in complete control and can adjust this. All of the fixings that will be required for this entire job are clearly listed. Every nail, screw, bolt and washer has been accounted for. The detail for each item is phenomenal. I'll just click on the joist hanger fixings question mark. Here, I can see the quantity of fixings I will require for my Type 1 fixings and my Type 2. The costs for these items are dealt with in the summary section that I will get to shortly. As you can see, the fixings for my studwork walls, noggins for LED flashings, studwork centre noggins are all exactly the same type. The summary will add up the quantities of fixings that are the same type and round them up to the nearest pack size to ensure that you only purchase the fixings that you require. Let's Let's take a look at the fixing summary. Click To Summarise button. This will now look into every item and job within this estimate. When the same fixing is going to be used, it will work out the total number required and round it up to the nearest available pack size that can be purchased. My summarised list is here. Any of the fixing materials listed, I'm provided with a form. This form shows the breakdown of where these fixings are to be used and the quantities that will be needed. Every single fixing that is listed in the summary has a form like this that is accessed by clicking on the question mark. To learn more about the fixing summary, just click on the blue information icon. The same summary process is applied to the lead and the decorating. This means you will only be ordering the actual quantities you require and not losing potential profits by spending out on items that you simply don't need. I will scroll up to view the decorating section. The total for this is here. Again, if you're only doing certain parts of the decorating, you can select exactly what needs to be included by ticking or unticking the listed items. You can really drill down into the finer details. You can view exactly how the costs have been calculated, and if required, you can adjust them. The totals for my plant, materials, hours, labour, and overall cost are shown here. These totals are all cost. The markups on my materials, plant and labour, along with my overheads, can all be added on my summary sheet. Okay, so as you will recall, everything that I have just shown you was all calculated by me entering just 10 numbers at the top of the pricing sheet. So that is every single section of works, every single job, an item within that section, and all of the fine detail that we've looked into right down to the last nail. I haven't got just a square metre cost or a vague idea of price based on size. I've got an exceptionally detailed, accurate and exact estimate. In this movie, I have gone into the detail, but once you set your dormer estimating module up to your preferred requirements, going into the detail every time you price wouldn't be necessary. So not only is it extremely accurate and simple to use, it's also incredibly fast at producing a professional, fully detailed quotation. To learn more, request a live demonstration, or to purchase this dormer estimating module, you can call us on 0845 612 4747. And one of our dedicated team will be more than happy to help. Alternatively, you can visit our website www.easypricepro.com and get in touch with your local consultant, who will be pleased to assist you.